Okay, I'd like to talk a little bit about how to do some care maintenance and most important to replace the battery, the lithium battery, the lithium CR1220 3-volt battery that we use in our very nice leak detector, a sensor and alarm that we have in all of our Fantasea housings today. And Fantasea is unique in that respect. In its price group, it's the only company that actually offers you in every housing at no extra cost this leak sensor detector and alarm system. So it's located right here. You can see it on the right side. We actually created a special niche here, and the alarm slides right inside here very, very easily. I'll just show you. It just pops in and just pops right out, but it sits firmly so it doesn't roll around inside the housing once it's there. And it's a simple device. It's actually made up of a circuit board, a light, a red flashing a light that will flash red when there's it's activated by moisture, a battery, which I'll talk about in a second, and a little speaker, which lets off a nice beep. And I'm just going to demonstrate this to you so you can get an idea what may happen, and you don't wish it doesn't happen. But underwater, if you're accidentally didn't close the camera so perfectly or some other thing is gone askew, then the alarm will go off and warn you and hopefully get you to come up safely to the surface and take care of the problem. So I'm going to take my finger and just put it on the sensor, and you can just see it's so sensitive that the second I touch the sensor with my moistened finger, it sets off the alarm, and you can see the red light flashing and you can hear the alarm, and that's what you hear underwater and see underwater because the back door, obviously, of the Fantasea housing is clear. Now, just to continue, I'm going to wipe this with a dry cloth and actually just get the moisture off, and then it stops, so we can continue with the demonstration. So this is all good and fine, and you were diving and enjoying the housing, and then for some reason, for whatever reason, usually it's human error, a little moisture comes in and it activates the alarm. So what do? Well, the first thing you want to do is try to, as safely and quickly as possible, following safety procedures for divers, make an ascent to the surface so you can take care of the problem. So what I just recommend is that you rotate the housing so the port is facing downward, and then if there's any moisture or water inside, it will go down into the port glass area and not sit on the camera. So that's just something to consider. All right, so we're at the surface, and we checked things out, and we found, I don't know, a little sand on the O-ring or something like that, and that cleaned it off and put a little silicone grease on it, and we're ready to go back in the water. But you might need to replace the battery because the battery it only runs for so long, and then like every other battery, it runs out. So you might need to do a field repair, or once you get home, to replace the battery. So this could be done actually quite easily in location. In other words, you don't have to take the whole mechanism out, although you could easily, for easier work's sake, is actually just take it like I just did and pull it out of its niche so it's sitting on the table. And here, in the middle of it, this little circular area here is actually where the battery sits. And I'm going to show it to you so you can see it a little better. This is just a spare battery I have here, and here you can see that there is this is that lithium battery once again, which I mentioned, sitting in a seat. We have it covered with a rubber sleeve, normally just to make sure no unnecessary moisture can get on it, but it's very easy to remove this little area. You take a box cutter or a very small cuticle scissor that you use for your fingernails or something like that, and you cut around in a circle, and then you could easily remove and you remove it, and there's this is just say, for argument's sake, a replacement battery, and we take out the old battery, we pop it out with a little screwdriver and replace it with the new battery, and we're good to go. And then we would take it, and I'm just going back here making sure we position it the right way with the light, little flashing light area facing backwards towards you, the diver. And we just slide it into its notch. And you've replaced the battery and you're ready to continue diving with a working leak detector alarm system, and good to go. So very simple, very easy. It might be a good idea if going on a diving trip to have one of these backup batteries with your gear, with your spare parts. So if something happens and it gets triggered, but I just now replaced it. I want to just check it one last time. So I moisten my finger to make sure it's good. It is good. And I dry it off once again with the rag so it stops. And I go diving.